AP, as we know, has a full line of feed storage and delivery systems, feeders, ventilation, and environmental controls. And Jeff Schoening, the technical sales manager with AP, is going to join us to talk about gestation sow feeders, or GSFs.
Hello, welcome to the Iowa Pork Congress and to AP's virtual booth. I'm Jeff Schoening with AP, and today we are going to talk about group sow housing and feeding gestation sows in group sow housing. Briefly, I wanted to talk a little bit about who AP is and our history. We are part of the GSI group, which was formed in 1972 by Craig Sloan. In 1988, we started the company of automated production systems. In 1993, a company called AAA was purchased, which kind of fulfilled Craig's vision of being a one-stop equipment place to buy all your hog confinement equipment. We were purchasing ventilation controls from a company in Quebec called Thevco in 2008. AP purchased that company. That is now GSI Electronics, and they manufacture all of our ventilation controls for AP. In 2011, the GSI group was sold to AGCO, and from that point on, we have been able to be part of a large corporation with a lot of resources and the ability to develop new products. AP is under the GSI group. It's still branded that way, and we are a core brand of AGCO. So if you go to AGCO's webpage, you will see us as a core brand, and so we are, equal partners to the other core brands that they have. So getting into sow feeding and pen gestation, there are several different types of ways to feed sows, and they're grouped into what we call competitive and non-competitive systems. So a floor drop, or where we're just dropping feed on the floor, and the stanchion, where we drop individual piles of feed into a somewhat protected area for the sow, are competitive systems, meaning that a sow can compete with another sow to get that portion of feed. The non-competitive systems are systems where a sow goes in, she's protected from the other sows, and she is fed her portion of the feed individually. Free access feeders are one of those type of systems where sows can go in and out of an individual free access feeder where there's one feeder per sow. We have full functioning ESF systems where the sow walks into the feeder, is fed feed and water, and then she leaves and the next sow comes in. And then there's also what we call free access ESF, where a sow walks into a free access feeder, her RFID tag is read, and her correct portion of feed is fed to her. The advantage of the GSF is that compared to a full functioning ESF, there is less training for the sows and for the people. It's very modular in design, where we can put one feeder, two feeder, three feeders per pen and build the size of the pen to meet the sow flow. There are less electronics in this system than full functioning ESF feeder. And when I say less electronics, like less sensors, less electronically actuated and moving parts. So down the road in several years to come, we perceive that to be less maintenance. Once again, it's a very flexible unit. And primarily, majority of the sow flow in these systems are post-implant, where we put sows into the pen after they are preg checked positive. As I said, the sows do get individual feed because they do have an RFID tag, and we program the amount of feed they get into a computer. We do not feed water in this system because we have to have an incentive for that sow to leave, and if we provided water in the feeder, she may just want to stay there and not let another sow come into the feeder. We can track the sow consumption, and we have the ability to manage those sows and look at the non-fed lists and so forth like that, very similar to what we do in a full functioning ESF. These are just some pictures of some installation. The picture on the left shows a triple installation where we have three feeders side by side. So that pen would hold somewhere between 45 and 60 sows. And then the picture on the right is once sows have been placed into the pen. Just a couple more pictures of the sows. The feeder is open, waiting for sows to enter the feeder. And the picture on the right shows a sow backing out of the stall and allowing another sow to go in and be fed. Software for this system is very, very user-friendly. It operates on the Edge platform. The feeders are connected via Wi-Fi, which has some advantages in that there's less chance of power surges along a hardwired system to potentially damage the circuit boards. We store the historical data of the sow feeding. We also have the ability to send that data up to the cloud so we can look at several days or even months of historical data. We have the ability to feed and manage non-fed sows. And the handheld device that I'll show you next also has the ability to manage the sows while you are in the pen. The sow data page basically is a general page. It shows each individual sow. We can put where she's at. We can put a breeding date in, which then calculates the farrowing date. We can change her feed curve, and we look at what amount of feed she's eaten today. By clicking on that one individual sow, we get a sow card that once again allows us to adjust the curve. We can adjust the percentage of feed she's getting fed in that curve, put in her breeding date. If we want to spray mark her, we can mark her. This is kind of where we manage that individual sow. As I said, we have a handheld device that communicates back to the main control, and everything that we can do on the main computer, the main control, we can do on the handheld device. So we can move sows from pen to pen. We can change the amount of sow feed that's getting fed to that sow. We can change her status and her breed date and so on and so forth. We're going to look here now at just a couple mobile screenshots. We have the main menu. On the right, we have the feed curve. Once again, you'll notice these are very similar to what we saw in the main computer screens. We can add sows into the herd. We can also manage a non-fed list on the handheld device, so we can have that list, go out and find those individual sows and manage them. Well, that is a summary of our GSF, or gestation sow feeding. If you want more information, please go to our webpage or contact your local AP dealer. Thank you.
Wow, welcome, Jeff Schoening. That was some great information, and clearly our producers are excited about your product too. They've been typing some questions in. We'll have time for a few more questions. If you've got more questions for AP, just go ahead and type them in the QA box at the bottom of your Zoom window. But Jeff, let's get started with these questions. First of all, are there studies AP has done to help understand the dynamics of the AP GSF in various systems and configurations?
As far as studies go, scientific studies, I would have to say no, we're not set up to do that. Most of our design work is done by feedback from existing customers. And so we have different feedback from different installations and have configured pens in different ways, and would be happy to work with you on laying that barn out that way.
What about thoughts on installing a GSF into an older barn versus a newer building?
When we started this project years ago, I looked at remodels as one of the main market opportunities for this product. As most of you online know, there are several buildings in the Midwest that are 60-foot wide with partial slats. And having worked with the full functioning ESF feeders for the last 12 years, we've struggled making those feeders work in that layout. So I'm excited about remodeling barns with the GSF. And as you said, the new barns are very easy to design around. So either system, either new or existing barns will work well.
Kind of along those same lines, but as we think about managing sow feeders, you talked about the stanchions and GSFs, and we know about ESFs. Is there one that's easier to adapt to?
I think one of the big drawing points on this GSF, or the walk-in back-out stall, is the fact that it is easier to manage and easier to operate than a full functioning ESF. We have a lot of systems that have opted to go with a stanchion barn, which is very, very easy to manage. You just put sows in the pen and go, but we risk not feeding that sow individually. With the GSF, we have the ability to feed that sow individually, and yet not maybe require such the skill level as we would need on the farm with a full functioning ESF.
Wow, lots of information and lots of great products. Jeff, how can our producers get in touch directly with you?
Once again, you can go to our webpage at automatedproduction.com or call our Sioux City office at 712-239-1011. And thanks for having me, Cindy, and thanks for all you guys do for the industry.
Thanks, Jeff. And we really appreciate you being here with us today to talk about AP's GSF or Gestation Sow feeders. And as always, we appreciate your support of our producers, the Iowa Pork Congress, and you're being part of the Iowa Pork Alliance membership as well. The AP team will join us again this afternoon as well as tomorrow during our spotlights with more of their products.